Okay, so it did automatically shut off 𝓬𝓵𝓵𝓮. I forgot to, we're going to go back in here. And what we can do is go to settings. And we can go to the ignore list. And we'll add apps to the ignore list. We want it to ignore apps that we don't want to turn off, like 𝓸𝓬𝓵. We don't obviously want it to turn off 𝓬𝓵𝓵𝓮 in this instance, but there's a lot of apps on the phone. A lot of apps here to go through and check out. You may not want it to turn off apps that you're using while you may run this app, so I would check off apps like me. I use YouTube Booster. I use Zoom. I use YouTube. And any other apps that we may not want to shut off. I think that should be good for now. And then that will not happen. That will not happen again. So I forgot to add 𝓬𝓵𝓵𝓮. It'll be under the M's. There we go. So again, to get to that, just click on the top three buttons there at the top right hand corner of the screen, then click settings, and then go down to ignore list. That's how we did that, and then just add whatever you want on there. Going back to this, so when we first started it, the phone was 2.13 gigabytes, now it's down to 2.01. So that little system clear there did do a little bit of service for us. The next thing we want to do is we want to pull down our menu and go into settings. When we're in settings, we should have developer options turned on. Oh, that's not what I want to go into. We want to go into apps and notifications. We want to go into app info. And now we're going to be disabling apps. A lot of people auto-update their Google Play Store. I don't recommend doing this. The reason you don't do that, the reason you don't auto-update is because it'll update apps that we never use. So we're going to have to go in now, because I used to do that, So I'm going to disable and uninstall all those apps right now and turn them off. Apps that are slowing down the phone. So let's go into Beauty Live is the first one that I want to force stop. And then disable it. And we have a lot of work to do here, so you may want to follow along with me, you may not. Skip a little bit ahead, 5 minutes ahead or something like that, to get to the end of this part, but it's a very educational process here that we're about to go through. I don't recommend skipping through this. The calendar, turn off your calendar, Your calendar will still give you notifications. You don't have to disable it, just turn it off. Same with the camera, that'll usually be on, even though it's not actually on. Turn it off anyway. Right now, our #1 priority is speeding up the phone. Chrome always has 2 or 3 instances open at the same time, so force stop, turn them off. Coinbase, things like that, it's on, but we're not using it. It's So turn that off. Color note, same thing, just force stop. That's all we need to do with these types of apps. Apps that we use but they're not being used, we can just force stop. Apps that are not being used and never going to be used, we can disable them. Contacts can be force stopped. I'm going to go through, here's one right here that constantly gets updated, never gets used. It's taking up 285 megabytes of space on the phone. You can always get it back if we need it later. So you just uninstall it, it'll go right back down to factory version, which is nothing. Yes, this is a long, tedious process. I understand that. This is going to be a one-time thing. Learn it once, never have to learn it again. Okay, here we are again. Google Drive, force stop. I use Google Drive. Dub music player, force stop. Google Duo is already disabled. That's great. eBay, of course. Who doesn't love eBay? ES File Explorer. Not the best file explorer on Android, but it's decent. And these apps literally will just stay cached in the background. They'll stay open. They'll take up space. Facebook, turn it off. You don't need to be on Facebook 24/7. File Manager is the standard file manager on the phone. Turn it off. Flashlight, I don't know why, but it always stays on. Turn it off. Free conference call. Somehow that got turned off. Galaxy, do not turn off Galaxy. That's how we got cool background, which is not on currently. So it's about to be on. Set the wallpaper, home and lock screen, and now what? Now look at what it looks like. Okay. So gallery, you know, these things don't need to be on. I know this is going to be a lot of repetition, a lot of boring, how do you do type stuff. Game Genie, force stop, disable it. It's not necessary. Same with Gboard. I don't use Gboard even. Like, turn it off, disable it. What the hell is that? And these apps will constantly update and update and update and take up chunks of your phone. Little bits at a time, they all add up. They all add up. So don't ever auto-update. Just update the ones that you use, the ones that you want to have on your phone, and let the rest go to shit. So Geek, force it to stop. Gmail, force it to stop. Now, when these apps get forced to stop, like Gmail, things like that, you gotta get, if you want to go get them auto-updating again, you gotta go back in there and you gotta turn them on. Look at that, Google. That's like the little Google search. Instead of going into the browser, it's like an actual search bar. Just by stopping it, it took off 100 megabytes off the phone. It's like, you know, Google Play Movies and TV, that is an easy disable. Unless you use that, I don't, disable it. Same with Google Play Music. Just get rid of it. Now, here's an app for you. Google Play Services. Google Play Services is not an app you want to touch. It's not an app you want to tamper with. Don't ever mistake it for Google Play Store. Just leave it alone. Google Play Store can be turned off, but don't disable it. Instagram, always taking up little bits you know, this and that. Laser ruler. You know? Who doesn't love a ruler on their phone? They can measure everything. Magisk Manager, if your phone is rooted, you might have Magisk Manager. Don't worry about it, just leave it alone. maps, unless you're out there using GPS. Turn it off. And you can save yourself all this time and energy by remembering to just turn off your apps as soon as you're done using them. Or do like a monthly cleaning. But really, it'll only, I'm just going slow here because I'm running out of breath. I'm damaging myself here to do this video. It's taking a lot out of me. But we're going to get through it. We're going to power on through it. Messages. I put my messages on Messenger on the phone that has a SIM card in it. So you could just disable the messaging app right out thoroughly. If you are like me and have your messages on Messenger, like directly, you can just shut that off. Messenger will open up 2 or 3 instances at a time if you leave your phone on for a long time. I don't know how it does that, but 2 of them can't be shut off or more. So this is how to shut them off. Force stop. It'll shut your Messenger down, so you're going to have to go in and manually open it up again. I'm not going to do that in this video, but you know how to open up Messenger. You just click on the little icon and it opens it up again. Mobile Manager, not necessary. Your phone may or may not have these apps that I am exhibiting here. But I'm just showing you the classifications of general apps like OneDrive. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even use OneDrive. It's good to have, though. We can always get it back later. And I always say that to myself, like, yeah, I might use this app one time, and uninstall it. And it's like, well, you can just install it. You can just reinstall it to use it that one time. It's not like the app's gone forever. It's hidden. It's out of sight. It's like the 8th wonder of the world. No, it's literally just uninstalled. Never gonna use it, but in case you do, like Opera, I tried that browser. It's not good. It's not good at all. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna uninstall it. It takes 250 megabytes and puts it right back on my phone. I use Google Chrome. I do. Yeah. So we're just working through the open apps here. You're going to notice a big difference in the way your phone operates when you do it this way. I don't even use photos really. I mean, I do sometimes, but I prefer the gallery, honestly. But I'm not going to turn off photos because I'm a photographer. Sometimes I like to go into photos. Google Photos is nice. It is, because it'll back your photos up automatically for you from your gallery to Google Photos. So it's like a cloud option for your photos. So it's really nice to have. I would recommend keeping that. Pixel I'm a digital artist. I like to do that a lot. So you'll notice the thumbnails in all of my videos. I made them right from scratch. They may not be the best. They may not even be the top 10 or 100. But to me, they are. PowerPoint, I don't use it. I have no need for it. I don't want to use it. I'll just uninstall it. Some people might need that for a free conference call. If you work on free conference call, if you do presentations and meetings on free conference call, you might want to keep a slides app to do that. To do screen sharing on free conference call. You got to have a slide presentation on the app. I don't know why but that's just the way it is. So that is your reality. Don't do what I just did. Just turn it off. Just going through the rest of them here quickly as we can. Settings. We're in settings right now, so don't disable it just yet. Sheets. Spreadsheets. This is all Google. This is all bloatware. I don't use this stuff ever. I've never used Sheets before. You may use Sheets. You may be calling me an idiot right now. And that's fine. If you have Sheets and you use Sheets, don't just turn it off. Don't uninstall it. Don't disable it. What disabling does is it actually uninstalls the app back to the factory version, but it leaves it on your phone. This is the stock. Can't be taken off without a lot of manipulation. You basically have to hack your phone with the root in order to get some of the stock bloatware off. So this is why you need to get specific instructions, and you can really mess up your device by taking off the wrong apps. So if you're going to do that, make sure to have a trusted source to instruct you on how to do that if you don't already know how to do that. Or you'll end up removing apps from your phone that are needed to run the system. You can't get them back, which may cause your phone to brick. And once your phone's bricked, you may not be able to restore it. Meaning you'll just see a black screen when you turn it on. So if you want to do it your own way, be my guest and screw up your phone, or be risky and possibly do it right. And apps like Skype, where they gotta call in to you if they're gonna be texting you or whatever, this will remove all the notifications by forcing it to stop. So if you're planning on using these apps continuously, just force stop. It'll turn off all the instances of them, and then you can reopen it again, and it'll be like a fresh one-of instance of the app opening, which means that it will only have the app open necessary, and all the other useless like carbon copies that are just taking up space on your RAM will all be eliminated by doing the force stop. So just force stop and then go and reopen it again if you're expecting a lot of interaction in that app. Slides is one of those apps that I never use. It's like PowerPoint, and it's upgraded. It upgrades to around 300 megabytes. That's a lot of space. Slide sheets and what was the other one? That's 900 megabytes right there, just by disabling those three apps. Just by doing that. Same with Snapchat. Force it to stop, but turn it back on afterwards if you do a lot of Snapchat interactivity, or else you're not going to get your notifications. So that's just a really simple way to clear off all the wreckage, but still keep your phone functional. Speed Test is one of those apps that will always remain open once you open it. So just force stop it is the best way to keep it at bay. Spotify is one of those apps too that just loves to stay open once you open it. Even if you turn your phone off and on, clear your cache, doesn't matter. It's coming back on and it's staying on. So turn it off. Text Now, same thing. If you're expecting calls, text, yada yada yada, turn it off and turn it back on. Like I said, I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but some of this information will not all sink in on the first try. For many it will, but you have to remember that there are also people watching this video that are not as capable and as quick to the gun as you are, so I'm catering to everybody here. I gotta keep everybody's level of intelligence in mind here, not just the geniuses and not just the idiots. Everybody. YouTube is another one that loves to open up, especially if you're using apps like me, like YouTube Booster. I don't know how it does this, but it'll open up like 3 or 4 YouTubes, and you can't turn them off if you go to this little trick that I love to use, which is go to developer options and then go to running services, and it'll show YouTube, which isn't on right now, but sometimes that'll have like 2 or 3 instances on there at the same time, and you can't turn them off. But you can turn them off by doing this. YouTube Studio is another one. Very easy to turn back on once it's turned off. ZenUI Launcher is not one you want to turn off. ZenUI Help is probably one that if you're good with your phone and you don't need help too often, disable it. Don't update it. Just let it go. There we had to force stop it twice. So once we disabled it, it turned on again. Don't know why that happened. That's all apps. There. So phase 2 of our development is going back to Android Assistant. If we look at our phone now, it's even 200 more megabytes have been cleared. It's now down to 1.81 gigabytes out of 2.78. 64% of our phone is taken up. But we can get a little bit more out of this process, if we clear the cache. So right under my face here it says cache clear. Click that. This process sometimes interrupts itself. If it does that here, I'm hoping it will, so I can show you how to fix that quickly. Just click clear all. It'll clear the cache. It's very important that we clear the cache once in a while. It just clears up space on the phone and it speeds up the phone. The cache is not important. This type of thing that we're doing right now, what we're clearing, that information is not important. So it's good to have it cleared every once in a while, like once a day. It's doing really good on this phone. On the other phone, sometimes what it'll do is it'll like stop the process. If it does stop, what it'll do is it'll stop right around here. I think it did this time, which is great on Instagram. So all you have to do to get it going again, never mind, it's just being slow. All you have to do is click on data or storage and memory. That's all it's doing, is clicking on storage and memory, and then click clear cache, and it'll just start off going for you again. That's all this app is automatically doing for us. It's just clicking storage and memory, clear cache, and then it just keeps going. I'm not touching anything right now. It'll do that for probably 40 or 50 apps. Again, I tell you this, I haven't done this in a long time. It's just going on its own here. Sometimes it does stop up. I'm not sure why or how, but it does. So we're almost at the end here. We're almost at the end of the video too. I thought it would take an hour, but we're only at 24 minutes. Everybody's probably half asleep now. That's totally okay. This video is never going anywhere. It's one of those videos you can rewatch. It's a timeless classic. Probably should win an Oscar. Maybe even a Gemini. Okay, so if you look there, it did it. It cleared even more, a little bit more there. It cleared just about 30 megabytes there of our RAM, because it just continues to amaze me how this little tool works. This little Android tool. You can do batch uninstalls. System pre-installed apps cannot be uninstalled due to manufacturer's regulation. There are ways to do that, to get apps like calculator and clock, apps like flashlight. Not that you would want to do that, but I'm just saying, like, we saw an app there earlier, quick memo, ruler, sheets. I don't know where sheets is. Sheets will so yeah, 𝓬𝓗. Let's get 𝓬𝓗 off there. And thumbnail maker. I don't use those apps. Do you want to uninstall this app? Click OK. And thumbnail maker. Click OK. It's much quicker to just do it that way. Like if you look here, if we try to uninstall a ruler, oh, it did uninstall it, so I must have. But quick memo, you want to uninstall that? Well, it'll dumb it down to the factory version. Actually, it did uninstall it. Okay. Trying to find an app that it cannot uninstall that I don't need, that if it did uninstall it, it wouldn't matter. There's not too many on this phone. Not a whole lot that I want to be messing with on this phone. So our phone is at optimal, around 60 to 70%. But if we can get it down to around 60%, especially on a 4 GB hard drive, it'll run around 2 GB out of 4. But it'll really be like 3.68, 3.7, because they say that they have 3 GB of storage, but look, it has 2.78. They say it has 4, but on the other phone it'll be 3.69. This is just how they, they're allowed to lie. That's essentially what it is. They are allowed to lie. You can do a batch install too. So if you get like a bunch of APK files, you can just install them all at once by using the batch install. What we can do is a system clear too, and we can go on here and it'll show us system trash. You want to clear that, empty folders, clear that, empty files, do that. APK files, if you have any on there that you're not using, kill them. Thumbnail cache files, do that. Don't touch big files or audio files. Those are ones that you have downloaded to your phone. Images, keep those too. And just click clean and boom, they're gone. Just like that, all gone. Temperature is starting to rise. 𝓬𝓫𝓫 does increase the battery temperature. It's one of those crazy apps that just loves to drain the battery. It's now at 41 degrees Celsius. It's pretty hot. Pretty hot, you know. It's really hot. It's upwards of 80. It's upwards of 80 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Battery usage. Click on that. YouTube booster is somehow emergency broadcast is taking up a lot of. If we look at processes, if we look at tools, like you can turn things on, like, to vibrate on touch. All you would have to do is allow it to modify system settings, and there, now it'll vibrate on touch. You turn your GPS. on and off there. Okay. I didn't want that. Somehow my GPS has been turned on. Not sure how that worked, but my GPS is now turned on, so that is not a good thing. Bluetooth. Naturally, you'll want to turn your Bluetooth off if you're not using it, because it will drain a little bit of battery. Brightness. Turn your brightness up and down. Cache clear. System clear. System info. File manager. Let's check this one more time. Click RAM. Click that little thermometer there one time. Don't need to clear. There's nothing to clear. Okay. If we click the little bottom right hand corner here, this little arrow in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, it'll flip. It'll show us CPU info, RAM info, battery info. Right now it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Internal storage info. Used 10.3 gigabytes. Free 13.46 gigabytes. We'll do a quick boost. That does nothing because we already did that. I'm just beating a dead horse now, but that pretty much did it. That's all. That's all she wrote. So, ladies and gentlemen, your phone should now be at its optimal performance rate that you can possibly get it at without installing an APK that allows you to remove bloatware from a rooted phone with your computer. Files like themes and flashlight and ASUS apps like weather and sound recorder that you can't uninstall manually. Go to XDA developers, and there's usually a very, very complicated way to take those apps off if you're not technologically inclined like your boy here. So I just don't mess with that. But if you wanna go that risky route and you're good at following instructions directly to a T and your phone is rooted, there's no reason why you can't do that. It'll make your phone operate really quickly right when it turns on. But if you don't, and you just want to do it this way, your phone should be running as fast as it possibly can at this time. Now I'm going to show one more thing here. I showed earlier developer options. Click on System, go to Settings, click on System, click About Phone 7 times. Sorry, go back, click About Phone, and then click Model Number 7 times. or software information, and then build number 7 times. Okay, so everybody repeat after me. Settings, System, About Phone, Software Information, Build Number. Click that 7 times. That'll turn your phone developer options on. Back out of that, back out of that, back out of that. Go to System, and look at that, developer options right in the middle. Click it. Go down here to animation scale. It's 1 times. Turn it to 0.5. For all the scales, 0.5. For window and in transition and animator. And it'll make your phone look faster, and it will be faster because it's no longer taking as much time to do like to switch screens and go, you know, each animation is now going to go just 50% quicker, which adds up over time. If you're always on your phone like me, it really does add up. Now the next thing you can do sometimes is go to running services. And this will show that we have a Chrome cached background process. Stop that. A clock. Stop that. Google Play services. Remember, I told you before, don't mess with Google Play services. I've done this before. It'll do things like you won't be able to download apps. You won't be able to update apps until you turn your phone, shut your phone off and turn it back on. So don't touch Google Play services. Don't touch Print Spooler. Don't touch things like System Diagnostic. Okay? Mobile Manager, you can stop. If you have Mobile Manager, remember Google Play Store. If you see Google Play Store, you can shut that off. You can turn off settings. Settings takes up about 200 megabytes of RAM space. So once you're done on settings, naturally, turn it off. Android Assistant. See, it's one of those things. You can't turn it off. And here, so I'll show you how to turn off Android Assistant right now. Go to Settings. Go to Apps. App Info. Android Assistant. Force stop. That is how we turn off apps that you can't close in running services. Now this phone is funny. It'll show you in the menu here how to do, like how much megabytes your phone has free, which we have 879 free right now. Not every phone does that. Not every phone does that. So if you want to know how much, again, we've already done this before, but I'm just going at it again one more time here. Android Assistant will tell you exactly how much. Oh, if you want to get back to that other screen, you got to click the flippy button again. So do the 2 arrows in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, the flippy button. Flips it back over. And of course, we have about 770 megabytes free to do as we wish. Yes, it takes a lot to operate these phones. That is why I recommend downgrading your operating system or upgrading your RAM to 4 gigabytes minimum. Today's day and age, you can get away with 3, but 4 is optimal. 6 is better, 8 is boss. You're not going to get much better than 8. You're also going to be paying probably $500 to $1,000 for a brand new phone to be getting that high of a RAM. On eBay, I just bought a phone recently for $100 Canadian with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it's from 2017. It's now the year 2019. It's not a brand new phone. It's 32 gigabytes. It's 4K camera, 4 megabytes of RAM, which is really 3.68. I know I'm making all these numbers here, and people are probably just bugging out and going crazy right now. But you'll get to understand the number game in the cell phone era, in the Android era, sooner than later, as soon as you know what you're looking for, know what's good, know what's not, and just focus on the good. So minimum requirements for a phone is this phone right here. I wouldn't go any lower than this phone right here. I would go to System Info, and we can look at all the specs on this phone, or jot them down if you want. Android 8 is fine. Android 6 even works, but Android 7, Nougat, I wouldn't go any lower than that. But I've seen people that are using Android 5 and Android 6, but those are really, really old models. Resolution for the screen, 1080 by 1920. Don't go any lower than that. That's 1080p. Nobody wants to have any lower than 1080p. 8-core processor is really good. It's octa-core. It's considered an octa-core. An octopus has 8 tentacles. Get an 8-core CPU. RAM minimum. I'm just going through what minimum requirements are for a decent phone in today's day and age. We're going into the year 2020 here, folks. Get minimum 3 gigabytes of RAM, but to be comfy, get 4. And why I say that is because you're not going to be having the full 3 or 4 anyways, like it shows here. This is 3, this is listed as 3, but it's only 2.78. We're missing 220 megabytes here. As is internal storage, it says 32, but we're only getting 23.81. We're losing a lot. Minimum 16 gigabytes of internal storage on your phone. But to be comfy, get 32. Make sure it supports Bluetooth, make sure it supports Wi-Fi. Make sure it supports GPS live wallpapers to get this. Wallpapers that move around. I keep my apps all in the middle like that. The reason I do that is because Messenger pops up on the left or the right, and I just sometimes don't want to click on it. So if I'm clicking on an app at the same time that Messenger pops up, and I go to read the message, and I didn't want to do that, then it screws up my Messenger relationships. So I know it sounds petty, but trust me, it saved me a lot of time and energy just by making that adjustment. Make sure it supports microphone. Make sure it has all these things. But most phones do have these things. The only thing that this phone does not have is a pressure sensor. Pressure sensor, I've never heard of that before. It's probably not necessary. I've never heard of it before. Again, I'm not the expert on Androids. I'm not the authority on cell phones. I'm not anything at all. I'm not even a tech expert. I just, I use this stuff a lot. I've had to do some upgrading lately. I'm currently running an LG G6H873 Canadian version, which is the Astro Black. It's 4 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes internal storage, 4K capability, camera, front-facing camera, which actually does do pretty good photos, 5 megapixels, 13 megapixel dual camera in the back, which does wide angle lens and regular angle. And it can't be rooted. There's no way to root it. So if you really want to root your phone, make sure before you buy your phone, before you purchase your phone, you check online to do a search on that model of the phone to see if you can in fact root that phone, if you desire to get it rooted. Because not all phones can be rooted these days, and rooting your phone is a very good tool to have. It gives you full control of your phone. Who wouldn't want full control of their phone? But it also leaves you vulnerable to hacking, like to being hacked, to having your personal information taken. Keep that in mind also, before you go ahead and root your phone. Always know that you can unroot it. There's always an option to unroot it once it's been rooted. I have nothing more to say. Android 9.0 as well. It operates Android 9.0 Pie. Not every phone has that. I found that it doesn't have much of a difference from Android 8 to Android 7 and Android 9. So either or, which is good today? They're all good. They're all cooking. They're all beautiful. Again, core of your phone is very important. 8 core is what you want. You want an octa-core phone. You want your CPU ballin'. 8 core minimum. This has been the Dr. Andrew Thorough Guide to Cleaning Android Phones and Minimum Android Requirements just to get by. If you're a frequent Android user, a smartphone user, you're always on your phone and you always want the latest and greatest technology at a reasonable cost, then listen to what I have to say, because I am in that life right now and I've done my research. With that, I'm getting out of here for now. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Leave a like, leave a comment, share the video, leave a donation if you wish, although it is not expected. All the links are in the description below. With that, this guy's getting out of here for now. Have a great day. Have the best day.